Good afternoon. This is video 23, Boundaries, Part 2. Welcome back. This video is Part 2 of Boundaries. I'm going to start off asking if Part 1 was understandable and helpful, and if you have any questions about the content. If you do, please leave your questions in the comments, and I will try to answer them or send you to someone who can. Boundaries are so important and can change your life in such amazing ways. Not tolerating disrespect or harm, toxic people and behaviors anymore I just can't tell you how freeing it is, and the sense of serenity that you get. I'm going to share a personal story about how setting a boundary affected my life. Way back in the day, decades and decades ago, when I was in my late 20s, I was dating a guy, and I was in love, madly in love. This guy had it all. He was a professional guy. He was handsome. He was my type. I mean, right down to my favorite amount of body fat and body hair and height and looks or coloring. I mean, and funny. He had the best sense of humor. We were well matched intellectually. I love this guy. And he was a drinker. I was known to drink myself at the time. We were in our late 20s, mid to late 20s. And I was getting ready. Oh, no, set it up. Okay. We were talking about how people treated their partners when they were drinking, and things didn't match what they wanted or expected. And specifically, I said, you know what I would never be able to tolerate? If I ever called the bar to find my partner and they said, "Tell her I'm not here," that would be a deal breaker for me. And we giggled, but that's so disrespectful, and blah, blah, blah. And then we went on, we're talking about other things, because a friend of ours had done this to his wife. So we go on, and I was planning a trip to another state for a family reunion, and we were supposed to spend the night together before I left to say goodbye. And time came for dinner, and he wasn't there, and time came for bed, and he wasn't there, and I was leaving early in the morning, and I wanted to say goodbye. And I thought, I wonder if he stopped by. First of all, I wondered if he was in an accident, and I hoped he was okay. And then I thought, well, I'll start trying the places that I know he might be. He may have lost track of time. So he wasn't home, and I called the bar that he was at most of the time, and the bartender answered, and I asked for him, and I heard his voice Tell her I'm not here. What do I do? I loved this man, but I had set a boundary that I would not tolerate this kind of disrespect. So I followed my own advice. I set a clear boundary. I communicated the boundary. I said what the consequences would be, that it would be a deal breaker because of the disrespect. And now it was down to enforcing it. This is why I'm telling you, it may not always be easy, but at the price of your self-respect and your self-care, it is always worth it. I broke it off. It broke my heart, but I broke it off. I had to. Who am I if I don't stick to my boundaries? What does that tell him? I can get away with whatever I want. She's not going to do anything. I still think about him. Anyway, I left with my self-respect and my head high. And no one else ever did it to me. When you are setting boundaries and enforcing them, start small with safe people, okay? People that you know are going to be supportive. Like, okay, say that you were making plans to meet at 5 p.m., okay? You say, I don't want to meet at 5. Can we meet at 5:30? Oh, yeah, okay. Or, well, that's not going to work. How about if and you negotiate. But that's a very small boundary, and you're starting out. Just seeing how it feels in the words in your mouth. Or say someone asks you to make 6 dozen cookies for the bake sale, and you really don't have time, your plate's a little full. No. Oh, no is the shortest sentence in the English language, and it's the hardest. Say, no, I can't make 6 dozen cookies for this bake sale right now. How about if I give you a cash donation instead? Something that the consequences are not that huge. Okay? When I was starting to learn how to say no, I would say, I'm sorry, I've got a lot on my plate right now. And that worked until I learned that I didn't have to explain when I said no. But the people pleaser in me couldn't make that leap right away. And remember, the most effective consequence when someone breaks your boundary is, like I said, vote with your feet. Leave. I love you.